Hey, this is River. Welcome to video 4 in the series of me making a needlepoint bookmark to celebrate Pride Good Omen style. Um, I've already stitched it. All that's left to do is to finish it, which you can see here I've started by clipping the corners and cutting out some fabric from an old pair of jeans for the back of it. And I need to sew down the extra canvas around the edges. And this is not something I've done a whole lot of. I've finished some ornaments for a holiday tree, and I put together a frame for a Good Omens talent contest on Cendaria's Discord. But other than that, all I've ever done is stitching needlepoint, and I've been doing that on and off for about 20 years. I feel pretty confident in that, but the finishing is a new thing for me. So you can see here I'm kind of tacking down that extra unstitched canvas with some black thread. Oh, and I outlined the bookmark that I had stitched with a row of black stitches because I knew I was going to do a black backing fabric. I wanted something that would kind of disguise that transition from stitching to fabric. By the end of me going all the way around the 4 edges of the bookmark, I had settled more on kind of a whip stitch rather than that sort of basting stitch I started with, and it worked much better. And here I'm just trying to figure out how I can fold back the black fabric and fold it inside where the bookmark is going to be sewn together in order to do that. And this is kind of what I did with the ornaments that I did for the holiday season. And I'm just using a white color pencil to mark that out. I don't have a sewing machine, and I don't have a lot of sewing supplies. So I don't have like an official pencil that you're supposed to use that with. But the white one worked just fine. And I clip the edges on that so that when I fold it back, I don't have a lot of extra fabric at the corner, just like I had done with the canvas, the needlepoint canvas. And I'm using tape. This is probably not an official way to do this, but tape was the only thing I could think of to hold that down without like sewing a row of stitches all the way around it that would be visible. Like I didn't want that aesthetic. So I just used tape on the inside because I figured nobody's going to see it. And it worked just fine. And here I'm stitching the wrong sides together. So the wrong side of the needlepoint canvas to the wrong side of the jean fabric, the denim fabric. And I'm just catching some of those black stitches that I made on the canvas and the kind of the inside of the turned edge there of the jean fabric, and so that when I do a stitch on each side it draws it together. I did that process on one short end and both of the long ends, and then I just took a little flexible cardboard fabric that I got off of a box that I bought some food in, like some prepackaged food, and it worked just fine. I could slip down in there to give it a little more stability so it wasn't so floppy. And I decided I wanted to make a tassel, which is why I left one of the ends open there. So I cut a length of all the colors that I had used in the flag, all the colors of the flag. And then this is me trying to remember how to make a tassel. It's been a few years since I've made one, and I could remember that you had to wrap it around something to get everything even. And I knew you were supposed to leave one of the strands uncut so that you could do this right here where I folded it in half, and then where that bite is, where kind of the middle bit is, you want to wrap that around. And I had kind of done that incorrectly the first time, so I was fixing my technique here and basically trying to remember how to do this. For some reason, like my hyperfixation on this little activity wouldn't let me stop and just Google how to do it. I just had to figure it out on my own. So I wrapped it around the middle there, and cut my gold thread, and I'm gonna use that to attach it to the inside of the bookmark here in a second. And once I get started, and before I do that, you just have to kind of bury your needle in the wraps that you did around the tassel, and it just kind of secures it. So I was gonna attach it to the inside of the folded canvas, and then I realized I didn't really like the aesthetic of it. It looked just a little sloppy, kind of at the top where that bite is, where the fold is. And so I ran some gold thread around that just to kind of secure them together to make them look a little neater. Buried my needle in that to secure it, and then buried my needle in there. And just a few stitches on the inside should be enough to keep it secure, as long as I'm not like swinging it around by the tassel or anything. I don't have any plans to do that. And easy enough. It's done. And so the only thing left to do is to take a little bit of the black thread that I had left over that was still attached when I was sewing that edge together. I had some left that I didn't cut, and do the same technique where I grab a little bit of the stitches and a little bit of the fabric and just go back and forth that way until it's all the way across. This has been a lot of fun to do this month. It was a fun way to celebrate Pride. I didn't get out and do a lot of social stuff this month. So it's been fun to kind of do a little crafty thing, just to kind of get in the spirit of it. I've enjoyed it a lot. And I've enjoyed sharing that here with you. So here we are, I'm just kind of cleaning up the edges of the tassel. And thanks for coming along with me while I've done this. Other than the talent show entry, this is the first time I've ever recorded anything like this to share with folks. So thank you. And here we go. All that's left to do is to put it to the use for which it was made and stick it in a book. Yeah. So thanks again. Happy Pride, and I'll see you around the internet.